What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Unbox Analysis. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, if you guys are new to this channel, that thumbnail, it is not clickbait. In the last year and a half, roughly since around February of 2023, I have spent just over $10,000 buying, testing, and reviewing products from Temu for you guys. So what I want to do today, it's kind of a pretty highly requested video for a lot of different products. We are going to go over the ones that I have continued to use this entire time, the ones that I didn't use, that I just straight up got rid of, and the ones that I wish I had never purchased. Now that last list, it's actually pretty short. Considering a lot of the stuff I buy from Temu, the prices are pretty low, so I'm not super worried about whether or not I purchased it. But some of it, well, we'll get to that a bit later, along with a Temu pool update. If you guys want to see that, make sure to stick around. So first, we're going to jump in to the products right here on this table. All right, so one of the first things I want to start out on is the solar panels. Guys, we have bought and tested a ton of these really cheap 5 to 10 watt solar panels. Almost every single one of these listed themselves at 15 to 30 watts. None of them are. The average is pretty much 5 to 10 watts. A lot of them do have their own controller boards right here on the back, but in the end, they're nothing too crazy. Now, if you want to buy one of these for, 10 to 15 bucks and you want it as a backup, set it in your car just in case you're out somewhere, something happens and your phone dies, it is fantastic for that. If you want to use these things for everyday use, please avoid these. Go on to something a little bit better, a little bit higher end, and you won't be sorry. Now, coming up next, I just want to talk about power banks. We have tested, oh my God, probably 25 plus different power banks from Temu alone right here. So here's a couple of the ones that I keep around. But out of all the ones I've tested, I only ever use 2. So starting up front, as you guys know, I give away a lot of the Temu stuff I buy. I can't keep it all around. I have a house. I don't have a warehouse. So, space. She's kind of limited. But starting up, I kept this one around because this was a really fun one. This is a 22.5 watt power box with a whole bunch of different adapters on it. But if I'm going to be honest, it's slow. It's very slow, so I don't use it very often. We did take this one apart on a live stream 4 or 5 months ago, so that's my main reason for keeping it. It's just kind of cool, looks cool, nice little decoration, but not entirely one I would recommend. Next up, we have the all-elusive Transformers one. Now this one is an adaptive one. It has different attachments. You can use a single battery, dual battery. It works, but again, very slow. On top of which, trying to put it in a bag, it's just gonna fall apart. It's not gonna be a fantastic use case for you. Sure, it looks cool. If you guys are a Transformers fan and you've got some nice little cool display setup, absolutely check these out. Very cool, but not fast. Each one comes with a single 18650 lithium-ion battery inside here with a little bit of a Transformers wrap on it. Again, it looks cool, not super practical. Now, this is the OG. This is one of the very first power banks I ever tested from Temu. And in the comments, even with the links being posted, we all know Temu links, they randomly just don't work. No idea why, just happens. But this right here, 22.5 watts, so not a fast charging one, but this was the first one I ever unboxed from Temu, right here. We've taken this thing apart. I've used this to power lights. It is great for powering light strips and other stuff like that. It's a decent size. It's probably around 10,000 milliamp hours, even though it states 20,000. There's 4 18650 lithium-ion batteries in here, and as far as I know, you're not going to get 20,000 milliamp hours out of 4 of them. So let's start with that. That's another thing you're going to have to keep an eye out for. A lot of the stuff on Temu, well, take it with a grain of salt. While it's still a good deal for the value, it's not quite what you expect sometimes. So really cool, looks cool, nice transparent face, but again, not one to use for much else. Now this is the Euchre 65 watt. This thing is a flashlight, power bank, all in one. I mean, it is bright. It's got a nice long range for the third mode, and it has a ton of power. I will recommend this thing to anybody ever looking for a power bank. The Euchre is an absolutely phenomenal power bank. 115 watt hour, 65 watt fast charging. I use this thing pretty much every day. Now it does come with an included strap on there. So this actually does come with an included strap. Now we did feature this one here in our Temu camping in the storm video. That was actually a full weekend of camping. Super good time, great video. If you guys want to watch it, go check it out. But this one right here, hands down, probably my #1 most used purchase ever from Temu. That's it right there. Now, sticking with the power theme, when it comes to the solar panels you get, such as this one right here, all right, so you have two USB ports, one here, one here. This panel itself also has a DC out, which means that a panel like this is a lot more useful when paired with a controller like this. Why? I'll explain. So the cool part about a controller like this, you take this little DC out port, it comes into the controller. The controller is going to set out the correct voltage, right? So you can connect the other ends to a battery. This one right here, it's all dusty because I have it set up in my outside garage, and this thing I use for trickle charging batteries or just keeping them topped up. I've mostly been using it for batteries from vehicles I'm not using right now, or over the winter, I plan to have my boat connected to this one. And I have another solar panel mounted just outside because they're pretty waterproof-ish. The connection's not so much, but you get the idea. Now you can pick up a set like this for around 45 to 50 bucks on Temu. Now here, take a good look at the box because there's no name brand that's gonna get you to this. My links, they're not gonna work anymore. Not for this specific one because I bought it a while ago. But if you look them up and the box looks similar, there's a really good chance it's the exact same one. Next up, we are jumping into the knives. Now, you guys have been around the channel for a while, you know I have bought a lot of knives from Temu. First off, because they always have such unique looks to them. Sure, they're not expensive. They're not going to be the fanciest knives in the world. They're not going to be the best steel in the world. But for the price of these, the knives, now, not any given specific one, but they have probably been used combined more than any of my other Temu stuff together, like all together. So first, let's start out with what I would say was actually the worst one. So we did a Temu haul a while back, and this one was a favorite. People loved the fake Gerber. Yes, fake, not real. But I will tell you this, this fake Gerber, while it is an absolute monster in weight and girth, like it, strength-wise, I mean, it's a tough blade. You could probably hit this thing with a hammer on some wood, chop through it, no problem. But this thing will not hold an edge to save its life. You get it super sharp, and within 1 or 2 days of use, it is dull again. Ironically enough, I have not had that problem with any other knife from Temu. Most of them stay sharp for a crazy long amount of time. Obviously ones like this, I'm not using on the day-to-day. This thing is massive. It's not really practical. It's just kind of neat looking, right? And same with ones like these. These little Japanese style, I don't use those very often, if at all. They just look kind of cool, so I thought I'd bring them back out, share them, show them off. Yes, but a lot of the basic handled wooden ones, they get used all the time around this house. Actually, I can't even find a couple of them because they get used so much. Now, here's another one you guys haven't seen. This had never quite made it into a video, but this one was super neat, and it has stayed sharp through quite a few uses. If you look at the blade, actually, it looks like I don't even use the thing. It's still so shiny and clean. Given I've only had it a few months, this has never quite made it into a video, so there's a little extra, little freebie extra. Now we'll talk about the knives that I have used the most, the cooking knives. This might have been my best knife purchase, no joke, out of all of Temu anything. So I'll show you guys the one that I use the most. Now, it came with 2 of these in there, but this one right here, I use the identical version of this for most of my cooking. This thing is still crazy sharp. I've probably cooked 50 or 60 meals with this, cutting through vegetables, packaging, meats, everything. It just kind of does it all. The silicone hand grip in the middle is awesome. It's removable. I suggest you remove it if you're getting a deep clean in there. Definitely a good choice. And the included case and sleeves are phenomenal. I keep them in there all the time. Obviously, don't put them in there wet. Again, not the most expensive or most well-made steels in the world. They're not gonna handle that continued water abuse. I don't leave them sitting in a sink. I also don't dishwasher anything. We hand wash everything here. I have a dishwasher. We just don't ever use it. So I will try to find a link for this set. I believe it was around $130. If I have a link for it again, I'll put it down. But if you look online for a cooking knife set, they're pretty easy to find and they look awesome. And no joke, great knives. Best part is I've used one out of the entire set for almost all of my cooking, and it's still sharp as can be. So if you're not a huge fan of sharpening knives, obviously not the best advice in the world here. If you buy this set, you don't have to, because the main knife that I use, there are plenty of them that are similar and will do pretty much the same job. Now, I am no expert chef. I don't know what half of these knives are for. Obviously, I know what a few of them are for, but I've been kind of using one as my all around. So if anybody watching this video has ordered this knife set here from Temu, let me know what you guys think about it down below. Now that we're doing an update video, I finally get a chance to hear in the comments, what of any of these products have you guys purchased and used? All right, coming in next, I had a lot of people in the comments asking, how is that chair holding up? What chair, ask you? Well, let me show you. As I get sand all over my desk. Okay, so this is the FB Sport chair. This thing we have taken camping, we've taken it to the beach, we've taken it to a couple of family events, we use it out back when we're having campfires. I've taken it camping many times. My first concern about this chair is that when you sit down, the aluminum poles and the plastic, they almost feel a little bit weak, but you know, I weigh about 190 pounds, roughly. I have sat down in this thing and I don't sit down easy because it sits pretty low. I kind of just throw myself into it. This thing is awesome. Two of them for like $32 to $34, absolutely stellar deal. Here we are, 7-8 months later, used dozens and dozens of times. Look how light this is. Weighs like nothing, and it's pretty easy to get back in the carrying case. And just like that, it's back in the case. It takes about 1 minute to set up, 1 to 2 minutes to put back in the case. You know, aside from all the sand, I mean, I just got a lot of sand everywhere, guys. I'm not kidding. We took this to the beach quite a few times. We have two of them. Colors. The colors aren't holding up the best, but I did leave them outside for about a week. I was kind of curious to see what the colors would do, so I left the case sitting out right next to the actual chair. You can see here, a little bit faded. Still pretty good color on the tops. But yeah, these things are awesome. So if you guys see these kicking around Temu, make sure to add them to your cart. Again, with a lot of this stuff, guys, if you just search certain key terms like these ones, beach chairs, folding beach chairs, you're gonna find them. You're definitely gonna find them. Look for the logo, FB Sport. Now, let's jump into the next category. The next category is sound. Now with sound, we have a whole ton of things, from sound bars to earbuds. Now, first off, I don't have any of the earbuds left. I have a lot of earbuds. I have a whole bunch from a whole bunch of different companies. They send them to me, I test them out. I bought quite a few. So when I get the Temu ones, most of them sound really good. And I don't want them just sitting here, so I've given a lot of them away to you guys, and I've given some away to my friends and family, stuff like that. So the one thing I will say, sound bars. So this is an LED sound bar. Now, does it sound good? Well, no. It sounds okay. For the price, sounds okay, but it looks really cool. So I kind of kept this one sitting around. I thought eventually it might look kind of cool, you know, just sitting somewhere on a set. I love the light disbursement on this. It's very clean. I like that a lot. It's very cool. Now this one here, the brand is, well, you guessed it, there's no brand. It's just called Gaming Speaker. Again, guys, if I can find the links to these, if any of my old links work, I'm gonna try to put a bunch of them down below to help out. But with a lot of my Temu stuff, a few weeks after I post it, the links go away. I'm not sure why. It has something to do with sellers, maybe running out of inventory. I imagine there's about a dozen different reasons. Now, as far as the earbuds go, here, okay, I don't have any left. Like I said, I gave them all away, but the earbuds, any earbud that I've seen and tested from Temu, which is around 30 pairs at this point, if they have the rubber tip for the earbud, every single one of them sounded fantastic for the price. We're talking $4 to $10. Now, that said, we've also tested them out from Walmart and stores like Five Below, and most of those, in that price range, they're junk. Under $10, and you are getting probably the worst sounding earbuds you've ever heard in your life. So if you guys want some of those, check them out on Temu. Now, before we jump into this fantastic fan, let's talk about something. I occasionally get the fun comment calling me a shill or a paid Temu representative or all these other random things. See, here's the thing, guys. Temu did sponsor a couple videos a while back. I hadn't worked with them in a while because they try to control what I say, and I always have to tell them, listen, that's not how this channel works. I'm gonna give my honest opinion to you guys every single time. But since then, Temu hasn't sponsored anymore. They've offered, but I kind of just ignore them at this point. So that $10,000, that is money that I spent to get products because you guys like seeing the Temu products. So just know that regardless of what I'm reviewing or showing off on this channel, if I'm calling it a review, it is going to be the truth. But anyways, on to the next one. Now, I don't know where the remote is for this thing right now, It's probably in my camping gear, but this fan is amazing. Now, I have found this fan on Amazon. I've seen it at a couple different stores now. This is the Cold Sky fan, light, battery bank, all in one. So this thing is stellar. The battery life on this thing is phenomenal. So I use this thing a lot in the summer. It sits right down underneath my desk. Sometimes it sits on my desk. This thing helps keep me cool. When I take it camping, I hang it up from this nice little hook there. We crank on one of the different light modes. Now, when I go camping, I have the remote with me. So lay down in the sleeping bag, the cot, get all comfortable, whatever, click it off. But it's crazy how long the battery actually lasts on this thing. I have ran this thing for literal days at like 45 to, well, about 50%. We'll call it half power, and it just goes. Like, the battery life is killer. I mean, guys, this fan is an absolute win. They average about 30 bucks no matter where you find them. Look, you don't even have to buy it from Temu. Just Google Cold Sky fan. This thing is awesome. Definitely one of my top 5 purchases from Temu ever. Now, there are quite a few different things that are currently being used in my computer setup right now that I can't really pull out to show you, because one of them is a direct copy of this. This is one of my USB 3.0 hubs. Now, this one here, I use specifically for power. I do have a slightly better one that I also purchased from Temu that connects with a USB Type-C cable that I currently have 2 DACs, a keyboard, a mouse, a light, a webcam, and that's also where I pull all of my footage from when I upload my videos for YouTube. So a lot of these hubs are worth it. You just have to be careful on which ones you go with. If they have USB Type-C on the front and for the input connection, you're gonna get some really high speeds. One like this with a single USB 3.0, not 3.1, not any faster than that, these are gonna be okay for powering and charging units, especially if they have the included DC jack right here. Now, a lot of the ones you ordered don't even come with it, and they're very hard to find because they're a very weird size. But ones like these are great for just slow charging a whole bunch of things at once. We have 2 more things to talk about, and they are probably some of the best purchases I've ever made. The last one's gonna be the pool, and there were definitely some mistakes made with the pool, so hang around and check that out with us here in just a bit. All right, so now let's talk about the $900 GT08 Temu scooter. Since publishing that video, that thing has about 300 miles on it. It is still, hands down, my absolute favorite scooter to take anywhere. In any of my bike reviews you guys have seen lately, there's been somebody probably riding that, helping me film, hold cameras, stuff like that. That scooter is still phenomenal. Now, the main issue we ran into in that video was the stability in the front end. But that is quite literally the simplest fix ever. There's an adjustment screw right here by the latch where the folding mechanism goes. If you tighten this screw up, the play goes completely away. All it takes is an Allen wrench and about 10 seconds of your life. Now, if you over tighten that screw, you won't be able to fold the scooter. Not a big deal. Back it out about 1 turn, you are good to go. Nothing on the scooter is broken, nothing has failed, no flat tires, no issues whatsoever. She is running strong, and I still highly recommend that scooter to anybody who comes to me and says, hey, I have this much to spend, what should I get? All right, guys, here's the part most people have been waiting to see. I get comments almost every single day asking, how's the pool doing? Well, as you can see, it's still holding water, but that's only half of the problems. Well, if we look at the water, it's a darker shade of green than my hoodie. So it got bad. Now, the problem itself isn't particularly the pool. It's my fault and the pump. The pump that I bought from Amazon, well, it failed. Let's take a look at it. So this is the C1000. I bought this pump on Amazon and it totally failed. It'll randomly come back on its own, but for the most part, it just turns off. Now, it is rated for more gallons than this pool has, so I'm not sure exactly what caused it to fail. It was keeping up okay, but even when it was keeping up, I was putting a mad amount of chemicals in here just to keep it clean, and I didn't really care for that. So it could have something to do with the rectangular shape of the pool, but on the bright side, even if you look right here, there is not a single leak in this pool. I have not filled it up in months. I just wanted to leave it here to see how well it held up. So should you buy the Temu pool? Yeah, I think so. Just don't go with the cover that I showed. The cover that I showed ripped itself to shreds in about 2 months. It can't handle the sun. And if you're gonna get a pool like this, get a cover that actually blocks out the sun. Something that's gonna block out UV rays so you don't get as much growth in there and you don't have quite as much to deal with. But aside from that, the pool itself is holding up. Obviously, it's a little lower on water right now. That's just from evaporation. I've kept really close eye. There is no wet spots anywhere around. All right, so that's gonna be about it for this video, guys. I am gonna add one more product in here. My other Temu welder also died. It made it through the first full project on the Jeep with absolutely no problems. Midway through the next project, it let some smoke out and it hasn't come back on since. We did try, I did open it up. I couldn't see exactly what burned out, but I tell you this, it will not weld anymore. But if you guys like welders, stick around. Next week, we have another one coming out for the cheapest TIG welder on Amazon. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around to the end. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.